Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam Wolf, and this is a trailer reaction to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, I did not play the first game. It didn't really seem like it'd be my kind of game, but I have heard that the story is very good. And that's what we're kind of all about here on this channel, about a good story. So I think I might actually play the first one before this one comes out. I don't think this one is going to come out anytime soon. They just announced it. We're going to be watching the official game reveal. It's about 13 minutes long. The trailer's about just under 3 minutes. I don't know if the trailer's included in this game reveal, but if it's not, we'll watch the trailer afterwards. This one, since they just announced it like 8 days ago, I don't think it's going to be out anytime soon. But then again, I did hear musings that, or rumors, not musings, that it will be coming out this year. I don't know, maybe they've got an end date here in either this video or the trailer. But anyway, we're going to take a look at the full official game reveal. There might be some extra stuff in here, so that's why I'm watching this. Plus, it gets me a nice long video, so, you know, it's not like a 3-minute long video. That would be so stupid. But make sure you grab yourself a drink. I've got Beethoven here, keeping me company with a nice hot cup of coffee. And let's get into it.
18. And that is hot.
Of course, this is being developed by Warhorse Studios, the developers of the first game, of course. They're kind of doing a Larian Studios sort of thing, though this is pretty cool.
It seems you're out of luck.
Where it's like a live action set in the setting, essentially, or
There's
giving it.
just one man who gives a fuck.
What?
A friend who'll never leave you stuck.
Let me just make sure that this is maxed out. There we go. Completely forgot to change that.
Now who
No
can
pixelation,
that
thank you.
friend
Good voice. I like his singing.
be? A hero and
It's been a while, but now we can finally show you Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I'm just gonna pause this real quick. I really love studios that just take pride in their work. Kingdom Come Deliverance didn't really take off as much as I'm sure a lot of people thought it might. Probably not as much as, you know, the studio thought, but it took off enough to warrant a sequel, which is good because they probably learned a ton from the first time around. And not only that, but I've been really getting into wanting to support these smaller developers, the ones that actually give a crap, you know, because, you know, believe it or not, Larian is still technically a small studio. They might have a larger small studio, but they're not considered AAA. I think did they self-publish Baldur's Gate 3? I don't think they did. But if they did, I mean, that's a feat in itself. But I think it's important that we need to take notice of these developers who are just going out of the way to show just how much they love doing this. And I love that intro. It got me invested already. So I'm excited to see what this is all about. And it's being built on CryEngine, my favorite engine. It's always been my favorite engine. I love Unreal. I think Unreal looks unbelievable. It looks amazing, but nothing comes close to CryEngine in terms of photorealism. It's so good. Deep Silver. Okay, so Deep Silver's publishing this one. I'm not sure if they published the first one, but they're publishing this one. Like, the character rendering is really good. Not the best, but it's good for a small studio like this. There's our boy.
I always dreamt of leaving this place.
The character rendering is way better than the first game.
Becoming more than a peasant.
Oops. Probably shouldn't have opened that gate.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life? It can end before it gets started.
I think the reason why I was not sure if I'd like this game is simply because the combat was very, well, realistic, rigid.
Congratulations, Sir Knight. You finally become a man.
You know, you have to... There's no magic involved. It's all... Was it 1100s Bohemia?
Wake up.
But, like, you know, you have to adjust your positioning based on the attacker, based on your opponent. So it's not arcadey at all, but more like chivalry, I think. Probably in well, maybe not chivalry. Chivalry is a little bit more arcadey, but it's slow paced, so you know, each swing matters.
You still have a long way to go till your work is done.
But yeah, apparently the first game just has an awesome story, so
Merciful God,
I'm gonna have to
and protect us.
I'm gonna have to get into it then.
We don't blow our arses off. Amen.
Oops. Dude, cry engine all the way, baby. Alright, good. And that must have been the trailer that they separated out and then into its own video.
I'm welcome.
And now they're going to talk about it.
McKay, and together with Luke Dale, we're here to present the first in-depth
Both actors.
at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
That's the guy.
Action
So, main character on the left, on the right, I'm not sure.
RPG set in a realistic world of the late Middle Ages.
We're in Kuttenberg, a gorgeous city at the heart of Europe, but also at the heart of KCD2.
That looks really good.
So let's take you into the world of the game with the help of Warhorse, the creators of this medieval saga.
I'm not entirely sure what version of CryEngine they're using, though. It's obviously the most recent version, but whatever that might be.
It's almost exactly 6 years since this game called Kingdom Come Deliverance was finally released. So now it's perfect opportunity to
been that
show
long
you what
already.
we've been working on those
2018.
6 years, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And where else to do it than in this magnificent cathedral in this royal city of Kuttenberg,
Wow.
where majority of this game takes place. Back then, 10 years ago, at the beginning, it was only 11 of us in a small office.
11.
Now it's 250 people
Whoa.
working very hard for years to bring you the ultimate medieval RPG adventure.
Think about that kind of increase. I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure. Let me look this up real quick as to if they had it published by a particular publisher. They did, Deep Silver. So Deep Silver's been in it. It's weird how Deep Silver didn't provide more money to them in the first game. It was only 11 people that created that game, and it by no means was an indie-looking game, to be fair. Maybe indie in terms of, well, not indie, but indie or small studio, small developer looking by way of maybe the animations. But overall, it was a very good-looking game. But to just think about that, going from 11 people to 250 in the span of 6 years, that's a massive percentage growth. And that's a lot of people to help. So, and it shows. It absolutely shows.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 follows the adventures of Henry, a young lad who barely survives the invasion of a raiding force on his village. Henry embarks on a quest of revenge against those who butchered his family and burned his home to the ground.
As a trusted squire and friend to young Sir Hans, our hero Henry is sent on a simple mission, but things turn ugly very soon.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a continuation of Henry's previous adventures, but the story's written in such a way that it's perfect for newcomers to Henry's journey.
Interesting.
Henry is a character that I think everybody can identify with because he starts off as a kind of nobody.
That may be true. That it's, you know, you can jump in right in the middle, but I would say play the first game first, which is what I'm going to do. So that way you have a full idea of what the story really is.
And goes through life with all these immense challenges. And I feel like everybody can relate to that.
Hans is all the kind of fun times and all the kind of ebullience and joy that Henry has in himself, but it takes a bit of accessing, and I think Hans really helps him to do that.
You were right about our stench.
Let's hope this water isn't too cold. You wouldn't want your pride and joy shrinking.
I'm more worried about it being too deep.
Come on.
Animations are much better.
What we are making now is what it was supposed to be in the beginning, but we were not able to do it because we didn't have enough resources and experience.
Exactly.
And all that stuff.
And it showed.
Proven that the concept works, and now we can take it to another level, which we always wanted. The game is...
And think about this. That's how games used to be made. They'd make a first game, prove that the concept works, and then the next game would be an improvement upon that concept. Now it's just like, let's release it broken, fix the broken game, and then improve it later. But don't bring out another game or anything like that. Let's try and make it a live service and make it work. It's like, no, that's ridiculous. You know how hard a live service is compared to just sitting down and making a game for 6 years? You know, if you can prove yourselves, and that's the other thing, is that the developers don't want to prove themselves anymore. They just want to throw garbage out onto the market instead of just really making a game. They refuse to actually go back to the old model, and guys like Warhorse Studios prove that it can work.
Much bigger in scope. Original game we had, I don't know, 3 hours of cutscenes. Now we have more than 5. Regarding the size of the world, it's 2 times bigger than it was.
There's only 3 hours of cutscenes in the first game. I say only because I've played Kojima games. So it's kind of surprising to see like only a certain number of hours, but now they've got 5 hours, almost double the amount of hours in cutscenes, which, you know, to be fair, 3 hours is a lot. Don't get me wrong. That's a full movie. But there are games that are kind of, they are cutscenes essentially. You know, take a Naughty Dog game, just pick one. They're like multiple full-length movies worth of cutscenes.
The story is longer and much more epic. So previously it was about an issues of small nobility with bandits in their villages. Now it's about problems of kings.
This is a behemoth of a game in comparison to the first, in my opinion. I think it's got so much more energy and pace.
Plus, this is like
adventure,
up my
action,
alley
and
easily.
And trial
Just
and tribulation and just
medieval
you could want from setting up the
swords and
characters
shields
in the
and
first game.
medieval weaponry. I love it.
Going, right, let's see what you're made of. This is going to be so much fun.
I do wish that there was. I wish that there was a sense of being able to have both first and third person. I prefer third person, especially when it comes to melee combat. Melee combat is just, it feels better in third person, because if you're in first person, a lot of games like Dead Island or something like that, you get a little. That's why I don't play Skyrim in first person unless I have to, because swinging weapons that are heavy and stuff like that, it becomes a little bit disorienting to me anyway. So I like third person from melee games.
Henry is a young guy, so he's not really like so deeply entrenched in his already, set character traits. So you can build your Henry in a different ways.
And that all means that it's actually on you who you want to be. You can save the world, or you can help to punish it for its sins.
Wow,
Combat
nice.
is also historically accurate, but we don't want to do that for the historical reasons of something. We want to do that for the immersion, and we want you to feel the sword in your hand.
I think Shad from Shadiversity would get a kick out of this game. He probably played the first game, but to have them make swordplay historically accurate, that's big.
Threatened by the enemies on the battlefield. We want you to fight for your life.
As far as missile weapons go, we added new type of weapon. We added crossbows.
I prefer the
Also,
longbow
some
or just the bow in
early
general instead of a
firearms.
crossbow.
Kingdom Come feels like the good old school RPGs. It will always surprise you what you can and cannot do.
You know, you can be better in combat, you can be a sweet talking guy who talks his way out of problems, you can be a charming knight, you can be a thief, you know, a scoundrel. Anything you do will be recorded, people will remember it. If they saw you do that, our crime system
That would
will
hurt so
react to that.
much.
For example, when you are, I don't know, drunk and naked, people comment on that on the street, and now you can also reply. You can tell them, oh, I'm sorry, or you can tell them, piss off, man.
If you do a lot of criminal stuff around the village, people will start to be suspicious, they will greet you differently. So try to make these little things collapse into like greater mosaic where your actions are really reflected.
I'm definitely going to be a hero type. I love, you know, just being the good guy. Because it's not, you know, believe it or not, it's not always easy to be the good guy. It's easy to be bad, which is so strange to think about because in the realm of video games, because we're given so much freedom to do what we want with a lot of these games, it's so easy to just go to the darker side of things just because we can't do that in our real lives. So we have all this pent up rage against the guy who won't drive the speed limit, or, you know, the person who pissed you off at work, whatever. And you just want to use that. And so in video games, it's very easy to just do that without any repercussions to your actual self. But it's always so difficult to be the good guy in video games. And I like that because I like having, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be good while trying not to be morally ambiguous, you know? I'm always going to try to be the good guy first. And then later on, I'll do, you know, bad guy story.
We are moving to different places, so one map is taking place on the actual
That looks
place that's
amazing.
called Bohemian
I can
Paradise.
see, I can see down here, you can see it right here. The screen space reflections, or I'm not sure what
the actual
see,
place that's called Bohemian Paradise.
it just looks like the water's breathing. It's weird.
And it's really beautiful nature.
That looks
with,
so good.
Quite unusual rocky formation.
I genuinely wish they would go away from screen space reflections. They never look good, ever. Some of them have come close, but for the most part, they don't look good, especially with the modern techniques of upscaling. It tends to break the reflection, and I would prefer they do cubic reflections or cube reflections or planar reflections. Go back to the older reflection styles, because for the most part, while yes, on a lake like that, that's that still, let's take a look here real quick. That's this still. These reflections would be perfect. They would be like a mirror, minus, you know, some of the ripples and stuff like that. But with stuff like ray tracing, depending on the rig, well, the PlayStation and the Xbox, they're just not powerful enough to do perfect reflections in ray tracing. So they lower the resolution of the rays, or lower the bounce of how many rays are being produced. And so the reflection doesn't look as crisp and clean like it should, or like it would be in real life. Water like this, even though there's minor ripples on the water that are distorting the image, it would still be a perfect mirror image. And so that's why most developers go with screen space reflections, because it's cheaper in the long run, because it only is producing an image for the screen space, what you're looking at. And as soon as you look away, that reflection goes away. The problem with that is that more often than not, it's not done well to a point where once you start turning that camera and those images start going off camera, out of your field of view, you'll see the reflection wipe away or wipe in. And if it's not done almost pin perfect to the edge of the screen, it's very noticeable and very distracting. So with cube or planar reflections, at least they may not be high resolution to a point where it's like, oh, it's perfect looking, but they wouldn't cause those screen artifacts that you would get with screen space reflections. I'm tired of it, because you can see right down here, like I said, I don't know what that is, but it looks like the water's breathing.
map is taking place.
And
on
it's
the-
very broken up. You know, there's a lot of artifacting going on around here, dithering, if you will, I guess. But whatever upscaling technique they're using in this shot particularly is breaking up the reflection right here.
actual place that's called Bohemian Paradise.
And it just doesn't look good.
And it's really beautiful nature with quite unusual rocky formations all around.
I still prefer.
We are moving to totally different.
I still
rather
prefer CryEngine,
urban
but
countryside.
even
surrounding
CryEngine has
huge
modern techniques
silver
that I hate.
mining, very rich city. So there's this big city.
The Gutenberg is a huge step forward for us, and it was, I would say, biggest challenge in the game. Because from those small outskirts and small cities, you are really getting in one of the richest cities in the medieval Europe.
And it's really big. It's even too big, in my opinion.
We are trying to go beyond that.
I love the concept art.
Muddy, dirty, medieval world, dark ages where everyone is dying from famine and war.
It was really like colorful, like it wasn't dark at all. We have really beautiful environments.
Wow.
Like players should go and explore all those like little woods and beautiful rocks and castles.
The thing that I love about the game most is just wandering around, because the nature is really beautiful.
This is what I love. This is what I love about studios like this, where they take, like I said, they take pride in their work, but they take care to show off as much detail as possible in their work, in their research. You know, no doubt they researched a lot to make the buildings accurate, make the castles accurate, make the landscape accurate, the clothing, the weapons, the armor, all of it. They did their homework, and they are really showing their homework right here, the result of it. And it just looks phenomenal. I love, and you know, the thing is that, again, there's no magic in this game. This isn't fantasy. This is actually historical recreation, if you will, I suppose, of what these cities, and I'm pretty sure they're real cities, in Bohemia looked like. So I love it. I love the fact that they are doing all this.
Serene, peaceful, and it's full of secrets.
The music is
I mean, if
big part of the game.
If we've been listening to the music
Jan Walta
this whole
is the
time, then yeah, it
composer,
sounds
as
fantastic.
with the first game, because I think he's awesome, he's genius.
Full orchestration, love it. Oh, the brass, dude. I played the French horn, so I'm a huge brass instrument fan. Even though my favorite, I would have to say my favorite instrument's the cello. I love brass, a good sounding brass section. It's quite funny. I played the French horn when I was younger. Love the cello, but I'm a singer. You think I would love singing above all else, which I do, but I love listening to the cello and a good French horn. And a good brass section is hard to replace. Brass adds depth to the score, like real depth. I mean, you heard it. There's the low trombones and the bass, or tuba, I should say, just really hits the low end.
You'll be blown away.
In this game, you can experience something you cannot experience anywhere else.
I think players will be really impressed.
I would have to agree with that.
My message to the fans would be you are in for a ride.
There really isn't anything like
Thank
Kingdom
you for all your
Kingdom
support.
Come
Please
Deliverance
follow
on
us
the
on our journey
market.
to create something unique. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will be released by the end of this year.
See you in KCD2.
It's crazy how they are releasing this year, but they've been working on it for the last 6 years, so why not, right? But that's what I love. When studios do this, where they announce in the same year that they're releasing, why can't every studio just do that? Stop with this years ahead of time announcing, oh, we've got a sequel to this game and it's coming in 5 years. It's like, nobody's going to care. 5 years on, you're going to have to say the same thing. You're going to have to tell us again that it exists. The hype will be dead by the time you decide to release it. And so it's just like, stop announcing games years in advance. Nobody knew this was coming. Not a single person. But guess what? We know now, and it's coming out this year. And some people are speculating towards the end of the year, but that's fine. Either way, we don't need any more games right now. But this is how you do it. You just, out of the blue, you put your head down, you get to work, and then when you're ready to deliver it, you deliver it. You release it. You say, here's the trailer, it's coming this year, here's when. You know? And that's really, like, we never learn from history. Nobody ever does, and it really pisses me off that nobody learns from past mistakes. And it's just, it's sad. But it looks like Warhorse Studios is kind of bucking that trend, which is good. We need somebody to start. Just, here's the game, and it's coming out this year. We've been working on it for the last 6 years, and you didn't know about it, which is a rarity. There was nothing around Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 ever being a thing. There were no leaks. There was no hinting at it. Nothing. And that is surprising because there's leaks all the time. And any people who leak stuff, y'all can go screw off. I am so sick of these people who just leak stuff to the general public. It's not their place to do it. It's not fair to the developers. And I don't think it's right. I think there should be legal action against people that do that. Personally, they need to stop. It's ridiculous. Stop leaking things. Be excited. Nobody wants to be happy or surprised anymore. They just want to know literally everything about every game that in existence, and I hate it. So, anyway, mini rant over. That looked fantastic, and I'm kind of now drawn into the franchise. I wasn't sure about the first game, but then I heard it had a great story, so I'm kind of in now. After seeing this, I am fully in. I mean, it's just such a cool idea to have such a historical or historically accurate video game where in this one, at least, I don't know about the first one, but in this one, you could pretty much do whatever you want. Like you should be able to in an RPG. But I was actually also unaware that it was an RPG. So I'm not entirely sure what the first game is, but I know that this game's at least an RPG. So, yeah, I'm excited about this one. I'm going to pick up the first one and give it a go. But what do you guys think? Are you guys really excited for this one? I know I am. CryEngine's my favorite engine, and I can't wait to see how this game turns out when it comes out later this year. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and please join me again in the next one, where I'll take a look at another trailer, give you my reaction, and then ask you guys what you thought of it. But until then, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I'll see you guys later.